Hello everyone, this is Nishtha from Nish Online Interior Design, Paint Color Consultation and Home Decor Content Writing. So today I am going to be talking about another important compass direction if you are specifically looking to choose a paint color for your south facing rooms. Now south facing rooms are in general quite heated, quite warm and cozy and can have that yellow glow on the walls all day long. Now there can be a certain room in your home that feels overly heated and you want to simply calm it down, cool it down because it feels just overly heated up all day long. Well, that is because you're in a south facing room. Well, my today's video is dedicated to discussing the 12 best Benjamin Moore paint colors for a south facing room. Now choosing the best paint color for your south facing room is not very challenging, just like picking a paint color for your north facing room. Since the incoming natural light is pretty predictable all day long, you know that you don't want to go with a lot of warmer tones and rather want to have cooler tone paint colors that can calm down the space. Moreover, as compared to your north facing room, south facing room is much more satisfying when it comes to choose a paint color for. Now your north facing room simply lacked the warmth and the sunshine, which is why we had to choose paint colors that had considerable chroma and color to it. Now in your south facing rooms there is incoming natural light which can add that lively factor to your paint color, and that is why all we need to worry about is the various degrees of sunshine in the morning, afternoon and evening that we need to study and dive deeply for. And we also have to consider that the south facing room is generally very glowy and sunny. So the paint colors that we are actually choosing have the potential to get washed away and they can even quickly pick up that yellow undertone from the sunshine. So we have to carefully choose paint colors around there. So now there are two different conditions of your south facing rooms. First is south facing room that receives ample incoming natural light, and then there's a south facing room that receives very low incoming natural light. I'm going to first talk about a south facing room that receives ample incoming natural light. Now for your south facing room that receives ample incoming natural light, you choose paint colors that are either medium toned or dark toned. Now here you can choose paint colors that have some amount of degree and visual contrast in them, because, and I would say also they should have some amount of color and depth to them, because the incoming light is so high that it can easily wash off the undertones and wash off the color. So this particular paint color has to be slightly medium tone, which can retain itself well while not washing out completely. And you can choose to avoid very light tones in your south facing room that receives ample incoming natural light. Some classic examples here would be Benjamin Moore Revio Pewter and also Benjamin Moore Charcoal Slate. On the other hand, in a south facing room that receives low incoming natural light can generally feel heavier because of the incoming warm light, which is very low. So in general, your south facing room which receives very low incoming natural light can feel very muddy, very heavy at the same time, and that is why you must choose lighter off-white paint colors that are slightly neutral or cool toned. So you still have to avoid that yellow undertone because it can get easily picked up with the natural light. At the same time, you go with more classic and neutral paint colors that can either have a warm grey undertone or a taupe undertone. So paint colors like Benjamin Moore Silver Satin, Benjamin Moore Classic Grey and Benjamin Moore Calm can make a beautiful choice here. Now before I move ahead with my list of 12 best Benjamin Moore paint colors for a south facing room, I'm going to first address some do's and don'ts. Now don't choose overly warm colors that have a yellow, orange or pink undertone, since they can feel too glowy or yellow. Pick medium toned or dark toned, neutral and cool toned paint colors that can retain their depth and undertones in excessive natural light. Avoid light colors since they can get washed away during the afternoon hours. Hues such as neutral and cool toned whites, greyish, taupe, blue-green, green-grey, blue-grey, light grey, charcoal grey and dark and moody colors can work well in a south-facing room. You can choose clean and stark white colors in a south-facing room that receives ample incoming natural light. Avoid traditional beige colors and traditional khaki colors in the compass direction since they can feel quite old school. Embrace the hues that have a perfect balance of warm and cool undertone. Now that we've talked about the technical aspects and various types of south facing rooms, let's get started with my list of 12 best Benjamin Moore paint colors for a south facing room, and the first paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Silver Satin. Benjamin Moore Silver Satin is a classic shade of off-white that has deep, sleek, warm grey undertones. This is an overly icy, frosty or cool tone light grey color, hence can work wonderfully in a low light south facing room as well. Silver satin isn't too warm or too cool and can be used with a clean and crisp bright white trim such as chantilly lace and simply do wonders. Now silver satin has an LRV of 74.9, which means that it can hold itself pretty well even in excessive lighting conditions. Now this color has a very feathery warm grey undertone to it, so it can add that cool vibe to the space without getting overly warm and without picking any yellow from the incoming light. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Silver Satin color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Revere Pewter. Benjamin Moore Revere Pewter is a best-selling neutral greyish paint color with the perfect balance of warm and cool undertones. This classic neutral greyish color can work phenomenally on all the walls of a room, especially in a well-lit south-facing room. On the other hand, in a low-light south-facing room, expect Revere Pewter to only showcase as an accent on the built-in shelves, cabinets and wall paneling. Now Benjamin Moore Revere Pewter has an LRV of 55.05, which means that it must be used in a well-lit south-facing room or just as an accent in a low-light south-facing room, like just on the cabinets or maybe your vanity or maybe just on a featured wall or wall paneling or maybe wainscoting. Now this color has a wink of green undertone which can become certainly dominant not in a south facing room, but if you were to use this paint color in a north facing room, it would showcase that green undertone. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Revere Pewter color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Grey Owl. Benjamin Moore Grey Owl is a soft and neutral light toned grey paint color with a hint of green undertone. With an LRV of 64.51, this color can work wonderfully in a well-lit south-facing room. In a low-light room, this classic neutral can come off as a stormy grey color. Now with Benjamin Moore Grey Owl, I would recommend that you go with chantilly lace on the ceilings, trims and moldings. Now this paint color can hold itself well in the evening hours, but with excessive lighting in the afternoon hours, this paint color has the potential to slightly lose its undertone. But all in all, if you're not looking for a very warm, if you're not looking for a very warm south-facing room, then Grey Owl can be a perfect addition on all the walls and can add that slightest touch of crispness without getting too frosty or icy. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Grey Owl color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Calm. Benjamin Moore Calm is a neutral and feathery off-white color with deep taupe and violet undertones. Especially for low-light south-facing rooms, this off-white color by Benjamin Moore can play quite ideal. This soothing shade of white has an LRV of 75.83 and can also be used as a whole house color scheme. So if you're looking for a white paint color that does not look too yellow and at the same time it should not look very icy and frosty as well, then Benjamin Moore Calm can simply do wonders. You can pair this paint color with chantilly lace on the ceilings, trims and molding. And secondly, you can expect the undertones of this particular paint color to get washed away during the afternoon hours, but in the late evening hours it will be back to normal and the undertones will be retained definitely. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Calm color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Classic Grey. Now in a south facing room you have to avoid very warm beige colors or warm greyish colors or colors that have an orange, pink, not pink but in general orange or yellow undertone, and that is why here is another beautiful feathery off-white paint color that has a warm grey undertone and can work beautifully in any south facing room, whether a room is filled with excessive natural light or a low light south facing room. Benjamin Moore Classic Grey is a soft off-white paint color with deep taupe and warm grey undertones. It has an LRV of 73.67 and can be used in a south facing room, whether it's poorly lit or well lit. It can look perfectly balanced without looking too warm or cool. Also, since it's such a timeless and versatile color, it would easily not even get washed off with excessive incoming natural light. You can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Classic Grey color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Edgecomb Grey. Benjamin Moore Edgecomb Grey is a timeless and neutral greyish color that neither appears too warm or too cool. In a well-lit south-facing room, this color has the potential to slightly lean into the warmer end of the scale without looking too beige. It has an LRV of 63 and this color has the perfect amount of depth to withstand the excessive lighting conditions as well. So if you're looking for a modern greyish paint color that does not get overly warm in your south facing room and at the same time it should not look too grey, you don't even want your greyish paint color to wash off its undertone and does not even bow down the space and should make the space feel lively and bright, then Benjamin Moore Edgecomb Grey is definitely something to have an eye on. It's also one of the best lighter to medium tone greyish paint colors for a south facing room. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Edgecomb Grey color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Cloud Cover. Benjamin Moore Cloud Cover is a subtle shade of off-white with a hint of grey to make the utmost timeless and versatile statement. For low light south facing rooms, this shade of white as a whole house color scheme is quite ideal. With an LRV of 80.28, this color can easily wash off its undertone in excessive natural light. Now this paint color has a hint of taupe undertones and violet undertones, so it can truly slightly add a cool statement to your warmed up south facing room. It is not going to pick up any yellow and will always prove to be quite versatile. You must pair this paint color with chantilly lace on the ceilings, trims, moldings and even cabinets for the best results. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Cloud Cover color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore White Dove. Benjamin Moore White Dove is a soft and warm white paint color that doesn't feel overly warm in a south facing room. This is one of the best and lightest paint colors on my list that is also expected to wash up the undertones. It's rather a muted warm white color that doesn't feel too yellow in this compass direction. So now if you're looking for a warm white paint color as a whole house color scheme or mainly in a certain bedroom which is south facing, then White Dove can do wonders in that situation. It has a creamy undertone and a muted off-white yellow undertone which cannot become dominant with the incoming warm sunshine, and at the same time you must choose this paint color on the ceilings, trims and moldings as well to avoid this color coming off slightly yellow when compared with the clean white paint color. So definitely rent your space in White Dove, especially if it's a south facing room. This paint color can look just very lovely, creamy and off-white in that situation. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore White Dove color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Quiet Moments. Benjamin Moore Quiet Moments is a cool and calming green-grey paint color that can readily work in a south-facing room. With a blue, green and grey undertone, this color has an LRV of 60.73 with a considerable chroma and depth. It will retain the undertone quite well even in a space that receives ample incoming natural light. Now this paint color has the right amount of depth and chroma to it. So we know that even with excessive natural light, this color will hold itself pretty well. Secondly, I would recommend that you pair this paint color with chantilly lace on the ceilings, trims and moldings for the best result. If you would like to have a cool tone paint color in your south facing room, then Quiet Moments is a beautiful green grey color that you can definitely try. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Quiet Moments color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Intrigue. Benjamin Moore Intrigue is a cool green-grey paint color that can definitely make a bold and dominating statement in the south-facing room. Especially if you're looking for a sense of drama, this paint color can offer the perfect sense of balance. With an LRV of 24.43, this dark and moody green-grey color can reflect a major green undertone than the grey undertone. Now, especially if you're looking to add a bold statement to your accent cabinets, your built-in shelves or your vanity in the south-facing room, then Intrigue can make a better choice as compared to the other green-grey paint colors out there. Just because it has a steely grey undertone, it can balance off with the warm incoming natural light, making quite a classic and neutral green-grey paint color all around. Now, if you choose the same color for the north-facing room, it can look slightly grayer as compared to this paint color being painted in a south-facing room. Now, use it only as an accent, and if you want to color drench your space in Intrigue, ensure that you have tons and tons of incoming natural. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Intrigue color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now the next paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Smoke. Benjamin Moore Smoke is a soft and airy blue-grey paint color that has the utmost cool and calming appeal. With an LRV of 56.39, this color has considerable depth and can hold itself well in a well-lit south-facing room. In south-facing rooms that receive low incoming natural light, you must use this color only as an accent. Now, Benjamin Moore Smoke has a touch of green undertone which can be seen in a south-facing room, which makes it just so calming and soothing blue-grey paint color for a south-facing room. Now, I would recommend that you choose this paint color on the ceilings, trims and moldings with chantilly lace on the cabinets as well. Now, you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Smoke color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. Now, the next and the last paint color on my list is Benjamin Moore Hail Navy. Benjamin Moore Hail Navy is a classic and muted navy blue color which fits perfectly into the modern and contemporary homes. This bold and moody navy blue color has the perfect amount of slate grey undertones to create a subdued feel overall. The cool undertones of Hail Navy will balance off with the incoming warmth, fostering a sense of balance. Now, if you're looking for a bolder color in your south-facing room and a cooler tone muted modern paint color, then Hail Navy is definitely something to have an eye on. You must use this paint color only as an accent on the shelves, vanity, cabinets and built-in shelves. But if you're even looking to color drench your space in this bold and moody color, then allow your south-facing room to have ample and ample of incoming natural light or artificial light. Now you can check out my latest pre-packaged Benjamin Moore Hail Navy color palette for the whole house here on Etsy as well as my website. So, what are your thoughts on my list of 12 best Benjamin Moore paint colors that go in a south-facing room? Well, did you like any? Well, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do check out my website at www.nishthasadhana.com and my Etsy shop which has tons and tons of these pre-packaged color palettes. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as I am coming up with these color-related videos every Monday. Bye.